So, in the last video, we've created CRUD operations for our project. So it's the project is able now to connect with database and perform CRUD operations. But now we have to provide some kind of an extra layer, like say, like an access point to that CRUD operations. And because this is a full stack, eventually it's gonna be a full stack project. It's gonna be a web application. Then we have to create API layer, API functionality that front-end application can consume those APIs and eventually connect with database, perform operations on database. So what we have to do? We've got our container controller, and that controller will consist two classes, as we've got two models, so we want to have two controllers to operate on those models. So new Java class, car controller, okay, and this is gonna be REST controller, and we'll put some request mapping. So basically it's the URL address, how it's gonna call, how the URL address is gonna look alike to call car model, or how to perform car operations via which URL address. So I will set it as just car. So basically, if I want to insert something, then user would have to type like IP address, then /car, like new car, or /delayed car, or /update car, etc., etc. I will show you that later on, how exactly it's gonna work. So actor controller. That controller has to be auto-wired with our car service. So car service, car service. Okay. So first API operation which I would like to implement is gonna be a post operation. So we have to add post mapping, and here I'm gonna add. So Alt Enter. I'm gonna add add car. So practically it will look like if someone wants to put something, post something to the to our database, it will look like something like let's say 192, or maybe just some IP address, whatever address it is, and then it's gonna be car add car. And this is the most important part for us, car add car. This is what I've just established here as a main request mapping is gonna be car, and it's for the post mapping operations for the car, it's gonna be add car just right after car /. Okay, so add car. Private, I will say string, as I want to receive some kind of the message if the operation is gonna be successful. I'm just gonna call this method add, and now we need a request body. Request body, and the request body is gonna be the car object. So car. Okay, we have to import the car class. Okay. So and now car service, And now we are using the method which we've had created earlier on over the service interface. So I'll show it again. Service interface, car interface. To insert something to the database, we've got method save car, and we've implemented it inside the service car service. So car service implements interface car service, and here it is, save car, which as an argument collects car, an object of type car. So that's why we have to provide car here. So car service dot save car, and that's it. And if it's, and return like new car has been added. Okay, so that's our post request. Another request is gonna be get mapping. So it's gonna be get request, and we've got two get requests. So the first one will be get all cars. So as I've showed you earlier on, so it's going to be like the IP address car get all cars, something like that. Okay, get all cars. And so public, and I want to receive all the car objects from the database, and database returns iterable of your car, iterable of car. So just to, where is it coming from? It coming from the car service interface. See, I've established it just here. This is the kind of knowledge that you have to possess. Why is it iterable? Because database, if database sends you a bunch of the objects, they are gonna be suited as iterable. So the method's gonna return iterable, and we've implemented that method in car service, just right here. Return car repository find all. So go back to our controller. Where am I? Here. So the name of the method's gonna be get all cars. And return actor. So now I'm using the repository, car service repository. So car service get all cars. Okay, I've made a mistake here. Wait, okay, this has to be slash here. Okay. Yeah, I've spotted my mistake. I just put the curly brace here, which shouldn't be here. So this is our get all. Now get by ID. It's another get request. So get mapping. Get by ID, and here we are gonna collect an argument ID. Okay, so just gonna clean my code a bit. Okay. Public And here I'm gonna receive just a single object of type car. So car, public car, get car, and we have to provide that argument. So path variable of ID, and in practice it's gonna be int ID. And now return car service get car by ID. Okay. The next request is gonna be delete request. Delete mapping, and it works in a different way. It has to be value equals delete by ID and an argument ID. Okay, and so public void delete. Once again, path variable ID, int ID. So car service delete car and ID. Okay, and the last request is put. So put mapping. So I'll do this as add. Maybe I'll create it as update and argument ID. Okay, public, right, I want to be public as well. Public string update car, request body is so yes, because first of all we have to obtain a car object and car ID, and then we are updating existing car in the database according to the car object that we've received from the method. So request body is car, and the argument is path variable ID. Int ID. Not want int. Okay, so actor car service update car. As you can see, we have to provide two arguments, car and ID. And I want to receive some kind of message. So let's say that car updated. So here's our 5 requests covered. I'm gonna quickly create something similar for the user service as well. So I've created another controller for the user. Same functionality. First of all, I've called user service, which I've created earlier on. Then I've got 5 requests, one for post, and I'm posting a user, and I'm receiving, and then I'm just returning a message that the user has been added. Get all users, we'll receive iterable of user, then user by ID, when you have to provide the argument ID, then delete the user by ID, and the last one is put, which is the update of the user in the database. So now I'm gonna just run the application and check if it works as intended. We'll see. Okay, the server has started. Yep, started Java application, which means the application is running. It provides certain APIs ready to consume. And we will do this in the next lesson. I will show you how to easily test APIs. And now I'm just gonna stop the application and update my Git online Git repository. So git add git commit user and car controllers, git push. So that's all for this video.